Hey everybody, it's Joel Woodard here with you for another video painting log. I had a really good day painting yesterday. I worked on this one and I got pretty far with it. I think I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with this one, seeing how it's all gonna work out. I'm gonna work on this one in a few minutes, and I also had a good day working on this one. I got significantly farther on this one. I'd say maybe there's 3 or 4 more moves left with this, and then I'll probably call this one finished, quote unquote finished. So I was thinking of adding a little more up here, but I don't know, there's so much there already. I don't want this to be too busy. You never want these things to be too busy. So we'll see what happens with this one. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to mention before I get started. I'm going to try and keep this short. I want to keep these videos short so that you all don't lose interest. So I'm going to do a few things of these, then log off, and then I'm sure I'll work a little bit more. But just to show you where I'm at with this, how I arrived at what I plan to do. As I mentioned in my last video, I do a lot of sketchbook drawing, a lot of just playing around with shapes and ideas, seeing where certain patterns, shapes, certain collections of shapes, seeing where all of that can go. And thumbnails, I do thumbnails quite a lot, as you can see. So what I arrived at was, so I did this larger drawing here, and I think I'm just going to add a couple of shapes back here behind this sort of, I'm not sure how to describe that shape. Obviously it's a shape within a shape, but it kind of looks like a cross right now. I'll just call it a cross or a neck or something. I'm going to do some more to that. So, and something else I should say too, with the work I do, it isn't just a collection of patterns, shapes, and gestured abstraction, like as I mentioned, that's in my artist statement. But I think my work also deals a lot with emergence. You know, I look at this and I feel like it's the profile of some kind of thing, living thing. I hate to say that word, being, just because I don't like to be so transparent, but you know, let's just call it for what it is. So in my mind right now, this is a profile, this being the head, maybe something back here is the back of the head. We have a neck, some kind of appendages here, some kind of bottom area of this bar with those bulbs at the ends, kind of connecting this. That's kind of how I see this work right now. And I can illustrate that as well in the painting I talked about in the last video. This would be the front of the head, back of the head, body. You know, I don't tend to work with legs too much. I kind of see these things as floating things, viruses. You can even say they're computer programs. that's how I see these things. And these smaller ones lately, they're like a portrait or profile. Is it portrait profile? Profile, yeah. I like dealing with profile because I think Egyptian artwork is an influence of mine. Seeing how they tried to deal with 3 dimensions and how everything was very flat and ended up 2-dimensionally. I think that's where that profile idea comes from. So that's just a little bit of how I see this work. So in some larger paintings I've done, it's I've tried to expand this world, see where these things, viruses, programs, whatever you want to call them, showing the world that they inhabit. I think, I was doing large paintings like that a couple of years ago, and then I've gotten thrown off track because we had to move out of the house I was living in. So, and now that I'm in this new house, I'm really grateful for the space I've got here, but I haven't really gotten back on track with those large paintings I was doing. And there's more reasons other than just space for that, which I won't get into right now because it's a complicated thing. So I'm going to get into this. I'm going to start with those areas that I mentioned, and we'll see how long this is. All right. Okay. So I'm starting off with a glaze of phthalo green, the blue shade. Just to darken this a bit. That's my objective with this area right here. Needed this glaze to be a little juicier, so I added some more of my medium. I use Liquitex glaze medium. I've used that for a very long time, and I like to experiment with a matte medium actually. See how these paintings would look if they looked kind of aged, as if I just dug them out of the ground. And using a matte medium, using something that isn't shiny and glossy, something that looks brand new, I think it would lend itself to that. Get to that eventually. That's what I got right now. I don't know if you can tell from the video. Didn't really make too much of a difference. This is just knocking these areas back down to trying to get it to a closer value. Alright, that's okay for right now. I'm going to leave that alone. Now let's get to those shapes. Just getting the paint to the consistency I want. This is a warm green that I used. shapes. Now I'm dealing with an area that's a bit on the small side. Things can get cramped really quick. You know, what looks good on paper might not always be how you want it on canvas. And if it doesn't end up looking good on canvas, well, that's just a great excuse to do more paintings. Not that you need an excuse. I don't anyway. Okay. A little smaller than I had anticipated, but I can't get any more larger than this. This corner right here, I did want it to touch the top of this circle here. Now I guess what I could have done is painted this angle at a steeper angle so that this corner here touches right there, but I got what I got, and there's something about how this corner, how it's touching almost the middle of this circle here. I like that. So it's not a total loss. So now this other shape, I'm gonna approach this. So the corner of that is in the middle of the space between the end of the circle here and this corner here, where this breaks, where it angles down. The shape I'm working on right now it's pretty much verbatim backwards K. And that's another method of mine. Playing around with symbols and letters, drawing them backwards, drawing them together, merging them to make one shape, and just seeing what happens. Seeing if you like it or not. Okay, well, am I satisfied with this? I'm not sure. I think I am. I could play around with it a little more. Well, let me back up. So, if I wasn't happy with these two shapes that I just painted, there really isn't anything I can do about it right now except paint over this whole area and try and match everything under what I just painted, which would pretty much be impossible. At least impossible for me right now. So I think, I still have all of this to do. I'm going to play around with that, and something might go over this area. Something more will probably happen down here that will make me a little more happy with what I just did up there. So, but I do like how these two shapes are, and the complexity of these two shapes is lying in opposition to the solidity and simplicity of this shape. So it's not a total loss at all. It's not a loss at all. So you know, every mistake you make is just an opportunity. So okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and keep working on this on my own, and I'll post this soon. So thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.